Hello, and welcome once again to another relationship revolution conversation. Today, I wanted to talk to you all about this radical idea that I have, which is that it is better not to talk about all the things in your relationship. I know it's a little counterculture because most people believe that you're supposed to talk about everything. If you're bothered by something, you should talk about it. If you want something to be different, you should talk about it. If you aren't happy in your relationship, you should talk about it. But here's the thing: a lot of the times that doesn't go well and can result in relationship dynamics where there's conflict, things aren't getting resolved, there's resentment building, one or both partners feel like they can't get anything right, and and really this idea that we should talk about everything can get you kicked off in this downward like doom loop in your relationship, which is like the opposite of what we actually want to have happen, right? So, what do you do then? And that's what I want to talk about today. Before I do, though, for anybody who is new to me or to these conversations, I'm going to take a minute to introduce myself. So, my name is Dr. Jenny Wallig, and alongside my partner and soulmate, Calvin O'Seely, we are the creators of Powerful Love Relationships and the three-pillar Powerful Love method, which empowers visionary, beautiful people, heart-led people like you to take their relationship to the next level, even if their partner is not engaged or on board. In our work, we're not just about fixing problems and making a relationship better. We want that, right? We want that. We really do. But our mission is truly about redefining and unlocking what is possible in our relationship. It's about revolutionizing how the world thinks about and goes about interpersonal relationships, primarily and starting with our marriages, our committed partnerships, because that is where so much of who we are, so much of our energy goes, so much of our dreams are built upon, and the legacy of our families is really created. So, this is where we are focused in our relationship revolution work. I'll say that, something really important about who we are and why we're showing up and doing this work is that we believe that your relationship is divinely designed, right? It's like the purpose of your relationship, not to fulfill you. The fulfillment comes from within, friend. The purpose of your relationship is to show you where you need to grow, is to show you where you are being challenged, where your next level is. And that when you lean into those opportunities that your relationship is creating for you, and you take yourself to that next level, you grow, you move through these opportunities to become an even better and better version of who you are. You lift up your partner, you lift up the relationship, you lift up your business, you lift up the world. And this is how true and lasting transformation happens. So, I want to talk about talking. Actually, there's so many things. I'm thinking about doing a series on communication because it is like communication is a really key tool that we use in our relationship for connection, for problem solving, for decision making, and even for leveling up. But and I- it's it not not only do people not know how to do communication well, generally speaking, I think that we rely on communication too heavily as the pathway to feeling better in our relationship. And so, how people tend to use communication when they are not happy with something that is going on in their relationship, they use communication to get their partner to do something different. Okay. And that's the point of communication, right? Point of communication is to have someone else understand your perspective and ultimately to influence their behavior, to get them to act better, to treat you better, to make a decision that you desire, to like whatever it is, even just to sit with you in empathic comfort, like, right, like to understand your experience so you're not alone. That we communicate our experience because we desire for another person to respond in a particular way. I hope this is all making sense. I don't have my water with me. Okay. So when we use communication as communication is intended to be used, but we overuse it, what we're doing is we're giving our power away. First and foremost, we are asking our partner to be the one to like behave in a certain way so that we can feel better. And part of what doesn't work about this is that it usually means that some part of how we are experiencing whatever we're unhappy about in our relationship has identified your partner as the reason you feel bad. If your partner is the reason you feel bad, the reason you're not happy, the reason you're not satisfied, the reason that you are activated, triggered, whatever it is, and then therefore your partner is the solution to what you need to feel better, right? Like if they would stop doing this, if they could just start doing this, if they could act this way, if they would understand it the way you see it and make the decision you think is the most important, then you can feel happy. But guess what that does, friends? It gives all of your power away because now you are not in charge of your own happiness. Your partner is, right? Because they're the cause of your unhappiness and they are the solution to you being happy again. And so you're spending a lot of energy trying to use communication to influence their behavior so that you can feel better, so that they can stop being a problem. And it is a power drain. It is a power drain. And frankly, it doesn't work very well because how do you feel when your partner is telling you about how you're the problem and what you need to do to fix it? I mean, maybe if they're doing it really well, you feel concerned or you feel anxious or unsettled because they're not happy and you want to fix it. But do you feel good about the relationship? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel connected? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel like you're on the same team? Do you feel like partners, right? Probably not. And that's ultimately what we want. The goal of communication, like ideally that we think that we want to have in communicating is connecting, is getting on the same page, is being on the same team. So that's a big part of why, like, overusing communication, using communication all the time to try to just like express all of our thoughts and feelings to our partner to get them to do something different doesn't work very well. But here's the other thing, and this is really important. So I want you to lean in and listen up. Bring out something to take notes with, okay? Because this is the piece also that most people really miss. But when you get this piece, everything changes. And it's this. What I have found is that 90% of the time, if not more, the things that you are getting upset about in your relationship are your things. They're your expectations, they're your traumas, they're your history, they're your perceptions, they're your desires, they're the stories that you're telling. They're a result of how you are making sense of your partner's behavior and not necessarily what your partner would say or explain their behavior as, okay? What this means is that if 90% of your upset is about your stuff, and ask me how I know, okay? Like I live this. 90% of my upset is my shit, friends. And this is how we actually, like, realizing this was a major turning point in Cal and my relationship. If 90% of your upset is about what's happening within you, then you have a serious amount of control, a serious amount of power to change what is happening in you. And what that requires is that you slow down. And instead of just saying something right away because you're upset, why do you got to act like that? Why did you put that there? Like, I really, that's how you're going to react right now? Or, hey, can I, even if you're saying like, can I talk to you about something when you did this, it didn't feel good because, right? And you use assertive messaging and all the great communication skills, I statements and speaking from your parts and all wonderful things that we teach, but you do it without having slowed down and reflected on where this is coming from, what this is about for you. What story are you telling? What is your partner's perspective? What can you um what can you do to be part of the solution here? How can you partner with your significant other around this? Is it something that's really important to talk about? Is now the right time to talk about it? When would be a good time to talk about it? How can I bring this up in a way that my partner is going to be more likely to receive? How will they experience hearing this from me? We call these powerful questions or empowering questions. Might be empowering questions. At any rate, like these are the kinds of questions that lead you to conscious, loving, powerful responses that are actually going to get you the end result that you desire in your relationship. The result that you wanted to use talking about this thing to get to anyways, but now you're going to get there a lot more effectively. And with a lot more accountability, with a lot more personal empowerment, and without as much defensiveness or arguing or um, disagreeing or unresolved issues, or your partner or you feeling like you can't get anything right or there's always something wrong. There's so many issues that we see in relationships that we've experienced in our own relationship that frankly get wiped off the table when you slow down before you speak up. I remember when I was a kid, my parents would say to me, like, think before you speak. And I think at the time I thought, like, well, that's impossible. But actually, it is one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten, right? Like, there's such wisdom in this. And it's not just like a don't just open your mouth, like pause for a second. It's like really, if you're upset about something, take a moment. And it's okay to let your partner know, like, because if they notice and they're anxious and they're like, what's wrong? You can let them know. Like I'm noticing something activated within me and I'm taking a moment to really sit with it to figure out how much of it is my stuff and whether and what is worth bringing up to you. I'll let you know as soon as I figure it out. Because if you are just sharing it too soon and too raw and without that self-reflection, without that consciousness, you're setting yourself up for uh, an ineffective communication experience, for breakdowns in your relationship, for more hurt and disconnection and disharmony. And that's not what you want. That's not what any of us want. So this is why I think that it is so important to actually not talk about all the things. And truth be told, what I found is that in our relationship and in the relationships of the folks that we work with, when people get really good at this, really good at slowing down and observing how much of how they're feeling is their own stuff, they like 90% of the things that they would normally have to bring up and talk about, they don't they don't have to bring it up and talk about it. And when they do have to bring something up and talk about it, the conversation goes much better, much more quickly, with much less defensiveness, and the resolution happens much more often. That's what we want. That is ease, my friends. When you can move through your waves, your storms, the little bumps in the road and have perspective on them and um not allow them or not fumble into them becoming so much bigger than they were to begin with. you've got a relationship that's easy. You've got a relationship that's stable, that's safe, that's connected, that's anchored. And you can spend so much more energy enjoying one another and creating the kind of life and love that inspires you, that you're dreaming of, that you really actually desire to have. So, I hope this resonates with you. I would love to hear your comments or takeaways. What landed? What came up? What resistance do you have? And I also want to invite you to jump into our Next Level Love Momentum program. This is a 6-month program, and right now we are actually bonusing an additional 6 months for free. So you get 12 months of a really powerful container that's going to support you in growing your relationship, healing your relationship, leveling up your relationship, leveling up who you are using all three pillars of our powerful love method. And so the investment, I'm going to put a pin on what I was just going to say. The investment is $10,000. There is a payment plan available. We have an option for a discount if you pay in full. It's $8,888 if you pay in full. I will drop the links in the comments so you can just go right to hopping in if you want. Usually there's an application process, but right now I'm just opening the doors and trusting that you know who you are and you know that we're the right people. And if you know, you know. And so let's get started doing this work. This is going to transform your relationship for the rest of your lives. And I can't wait to see the unlocking and the leveling up that gets to happen. I also want to say, if you haven't seen or heard about me talk about this yet, we are doing a live masterclass tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific. That is Saturday, April 5th, 2025. And I would love for you to join. This is called Next Level Love, Next Level Life, how to create a relationship that expands everything. And it is going to be epic. So you don't want to miss that. So I will also drop the link to sign up to register for the free masterclass. Again, that is tomorrow, Saturday, the 5th of April in 2025. If you missed it, don't worry, reach out and just type masterclass in any of the comments, and I will let you know when the next one is going to happen, because I plan to do this masterclass every 6 weeks ago or so. Okay. Thank you for being here, taking some time out of your busy life to level up who you are, to step into this relationship revolution with us, and give yourself an opportunity to expand what's possible for you and for your love and for your life. I look forward to seeing you next time for another conversation in the relationship revolution journey. And I'm not quite sure how to end the live stream from the program. Oh, here's the button. Okay. All right. I love you all. Here's to a beautiful, extraordinary, lifelong relationship. I'll see you next Friday.